William was right that Harry cannot keep his goddamn mouth shut.
I don't think he's an asset to the family. I believe he's a threat.
Prince William just declared war on his own brother. And, honestly, Harry never saw it coming. The prince everyone thought was too polite, too calculated, too royal to ever lose his cool, just pulled off the most savage takedown in modern monarchy history. No public outburst. No dramatic speech. Just ice-cold strategy that left Harry and Meghan completely powerless. For years, the family absorbed the punches. Meghan's Oprah interview? They stayed silent. The Netflix documentary painting them as villains? They issued a careful statement. Harry's memoir exposing private fights and family secrets? They maintained their dignity.
Good evening, Your Majesties. Good evening, Windsor.
But William was done playing defense. He watched his family's reputation get shredded for profit. Watched private moments get packaged and sold. Watched centuries of tradition get treated like reality TV content. And something inside him snapped. Not emotionally, strategically. He stopped thinking like a wounded brother and started thinking like a king in waiting. The stakes were too high, the damage too severe. Someone had to stop the bleeding, so William did something the royal family almost never does. He went on the offensive. 3 steps. Surgical, brutal, effective. Strip the titles, freeze the access, erase them from the narrative.
Harry doesn't have intentions that are going to benefit the royal family.
But here's what nobody expected. This whole explosive situation, it didn't start with the memoir or the Oprah interview. It started at a wedding, May 2018. The world was obsessed. Harry was marrying Meghan, and it felt like a fairy tale. Millions tuned in. The carriages gleamed. The music swelled. Every detail choreographed to perfection. And then it happened. Meghan walked past Queen Elizabeth without a curtsy. Most people didn't even notice. But inside the palace, that moment detonated like a silent bomb.
Harry is trying to create more problems between Prince William and King Charles. And I truly believe this.
Because in royal protocol, that gesture isn't optional. It's not some dusty tradition you can skip because you're modern or independent. It's fundamental. It's respect made visible. William caught it instantly. And according to sources close to the family, that's when he knew. This wasn't going to be a smooth adjustment period. This wasn't Meghan learning the ropes or finding her footing. This was a statement. Think about how that must have felt for William. He'd spent his entire life bowing to protocol, learning when to stand, when to sit, when to speak, when to stay silent, accepting that being royal means duty comes before personal preference. Every single time.
Did you make Kate cry?
No, the reverse happened.
And here was someone who just married into the family, on one of the most watched days in modern royal history, choosing to skip one of the most basic gestures of respect. That wasn't rebellion, that was a declaration. What followed wasn't random, it was a pattern. The Netflix docuseries dropped like a precision strike. 6 episodes, carefully edited, deliberately framed. Harry and Meghan as the trapped victims. William and Kate as the cold, uncaring relatives. William had to sit there and watch the world consume this version of reality.
Going into the criticism of William for carrying out less numbers of engagements than his father. We don't need you, Prince Harry.
Apparently for me, that doesn't matter.
Watch headlines explode. Watch commentators pick apart his relationship with his brother based on footage cut to tell one very specific story. And he couldn't fight back. The palace doesn't make counter-documentaries. That's not how they operate. So he just absorbed it and started planning. Then came Spotify, the massive deal, the millions up front, the promise of groundbreaking content. And what did they deliver? One podcast series before the whole thing collapsed.
Everything that Harry is trying to do only benefits Harry.
When Spotify executives publicly called them grifters, that wasn't just industry gossip. That was Hollywood turning on them. That was the entertainment world realizing they'd been sold a fantasy. But nothing compared to Oprah. That interview was scorched earth. Meghan sat there, calm and composed, and dropped allegations about racism within the family. She hinted at conversations that happened behind closed doors. She painted herself as someone pushed to the breaking point. The palace scrambled. They had no playbook for this level of public exposure. And William? He got shoved in front of cameras to declare they're very much not a racist family.
Trump is far more interested in getting close to William and Catherine than he is any other member of the royal family.
The look on his face told you everything. The discomfort, the frustration, the realization that his family was being tried in the court of public opinion, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Then Harry published Spare. That book wasn't therapy. It was a grenade. Private text messages, physical fights with William, intimate family moments turned into best-selling chapters. Harry didn't just share his side of the story. He monetized their entire relationship. William reportedly read those pages and felt something fundamental shift inside him. Because this wasn't about Harry healing anymore. This was about profit. Every family wound transformed into book sales.
Harry can't be trusted. He's always going to do something to cross that line.
Every private conversation turned into public entertainment. That's when William realized hoping for the best wasn't a strategy. It was surrender. The monarchy needed protection. And if saving it meant cutting his brother loose, then that's what had to happen. Balmoral, the Scottish fortress where royals go when decisions need to be final. This wasn't a family gathering, this was a war council. Charles walked in, hoping for reconciliation. Camilla urged patience. Kate, torn between peace and duty, stayed quiet. But William? He walked in with a plan already locked and loaded. He wasn't asking for permission.
Like, I curtsied as though I was like, "Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty." Like, was that okay?
He was announcing the verdict. Step 1. Strip the titles. Take away the Duke and Duchess designations. Remove the HRH styling. Without those, Harry and Meghan aren't working royals. They're just celebrities with a famous last name. And in Hollywood, that distinction is everything. Step 2. Freeze them out. No access to royal properties. No invitations to events. No financial support. If Harry wants to visit the UK, he can do it as a tourist, not as a prince coming home. That cold shoulder would hurt more than any public statement ever could.
I was doing an interview to offer them a platform to tell their story about why they left. And that was my number one intention, was just clarity on why did you leave? And so some of the things that were revealed in that interview came as a surprise to me. And those surprises are now referred to as bombshells.
Step 3. Stop engaging entirely. No palace responses to their interviews. No statements addressing their claims. Just complete, devastating silence. Let them talk into the void. Let them release all the content they want without getting any reaction. Eventually, the public interest fades. It was brilliant. William wasn't trying to destroy them publicly. He was just cutting off their oxygen supply. Harry was the target. But Meghan had the most to lose. She'd married into this family expecting influence, recognition, a platform to change things.
The feud between William and Harry is as bitter as ever.
She'd envisioned modernizing the monarchy from the inside. William's plan turned that vision into ashes. Look what happened. The podcast canceled, Netflix numbers dropping, corporate partnerships falling through. Because without being able to call herself a duchess, without that active royal connection, Meghan's appeal in Hollywood evaporated. The entertainment industry doesn't care about potential. They care about what you can deliver right now, what audience you can bring, what doors your name opens. And when Meghan's royal doors slammed shut, executives stopped returning calls.
She decided she didn't want to be a real princess because to be a real princess involves duty and responsibility, caring about other people. And so she just wanted to be a pretend princess in Hollywood. So she split her husband off from his royal family and then inked a $1 zillion deal with a bunch of media companies, and then all her projects flopped.
The palace made sure of it. When Harry arranged a charity appearance in the UK, the coldness was calculated. The monarchy couldn't survive if every private conversation might end up in someone's podcast. She had to choose family peace or institutional survival. She chose survival. That's when Charles finally aligned with William. The king stopped being the gentle father and became the protector of the crown. When both the current king and the future king agree, there's no path back. Harry and Meghan aren't working royals anymore. They're not semi-detached family members. They're private citizens who happen to share a last name with the family.
William, at one point, within 7 miles of his brother, so near and yet so far, refusing to see.
That distinction changed everything. Every door closed. Every privilege vanished. And the palace didn't even make a formal announcement. They just quietly updated the website and moved on. That silence was more brutal than any public confrontation. William emerged from this as someone completely transformed. Not the diplomatic older brother anymore, not the peacemaker. Something harder, more calculating, more willing to make brutal choices for the crown. Some see him as a guardian who saved the monarchy from celebrity culture. Others see him as ruthless, choosing an institution over his own brother.
They know that once King William is King William, that they're done, that they're completely cut.
Both might be true. What's undeniable? William rewrote the playbook. He recognized that quiet endurance doesn't work in the age of streaming documentaries and social media explosions. So he created a new strategy. The question historians will ask isn't whether this was right or wrong, it's whether the monarchy can survive with this level of ruthlessness baked into its DNA. Because William proved something terrifying and absolute. The institution always comes first. Always.
Yes, they met. Yes, that was against William's wishes, but there was no sense that I'm getting that Charles laid out the red carpet for Harry.
And anyone who forgets that, they'll learn the hard way. Harry and Meghan are in California now, trying to build relevance without the royal framework. And every year, it gets harder. The fascination is fading. People are moving on, exactly as William planned. The crown is still standing, still commanding attention. But the cost was higher than anyone imagined. Two brothers who walked behind their mother's coffin together now live separate lives on opposite sides of the world. The bridges aren't just burned, they're demolished. But here's what nobody's talking about. The demand Harry made to Charles that pushed William completely over the edge? The audacity of what he asked for will genuinely shock you. I broke down that entire explosive situation in my last video, and it explains everything about why William finally snapped. This is T-Torch, digging into the stories the palace desperately wants buried. Hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Because what's coming next? You won't believe it. See you in the next one.